To be carnally minded is death, and to be spiritually minded is life eternal. Welcome to day 31 of the Seek Him First Book of Mormon Challenge. So today I want to talk about what it means to be carnally minded and spiritually minded. So carnal things are the things of this world and seeking out your appetites like lusts and the riches of this world. And to be spiritually minded is life eternal, which spells the word smile. And going into that, these verses warn against what will happen if you chase after the things of this world. And it also talks about the need for the infinite atonement. So going right into it. So the reality of death and sin. So physical death is because of the fall, and spiritual death is the separation from God. So the separation from God is sin. So sin is what separates us from being with Him. And so the biggest warnings in this verse that I wanted to talk about was he warns of pride and riches. So in verse 28, it talks about being learned is good. I'm just going to read it here. When they are learned, think they are wise, and they hearken not unto the counsels of God, for they set it aside, supposing they know of themselves. Wherefore their wisdom is foolishness, and it profiteth them not, and they shall perish. And then in 29, but to be learned is good if they hearken unto the counsels of God. And what this reminded me of is 3 Nephi 19. And that reads, lay not up yourself treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourself treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through and steal. So God looketh at the heart, and He will know our heart based off what we see as valuable. And the other thought that came to my mind when I was thinking of riches was in Matthew 24 and 26. It says, and again, I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. And then 26, but Jesus beheld them and said unto them, with men it is impossible, but with God all things are possible. When Jesus was teaching this, his apostles were kind of shocked by this answer. And what I have learned, that the eye of a needle is not the literal eye of a needle, but it was an entrance into Jerusalem where a camel would have to take off all of its bags and kneel down in order to go through a small entrance into the holy city. So what does that mean? Basically, as humans, it's going to be harder for us to enter into the kingdom of God if we're focused on riches and are carnally minded. So we need to shed off the worldly things and take off the baggage and our riches and set those aside in order to go through the eye of the needle and make it into the kingdom of God. So Jesus is not actually saying you can't enter into the kingdom of God if you are wealthy. He's saying that you need to have your heart posture be in the right place of not putting riches before God. All of us have the natural man within us, and all of us are susceptible to sin and temptation in this world. So there's nothing short of an infinite atonement that can cover all sin and all the needs. In order for Jesus to succor us perfectly, He died and was on the cross for us so we could return back to Him. And so when we're facing the storms of life, just keep in mind the acronym SMILE.